Welcome to Hybis Conversations. My name is Suresh Kochate. Food and beverage business is a tricky one. If it succeeds, there's nothing like it. If it doesn't, you need to relook at your business. In a post-COVID situation that we are in today, when the Unlock 1.0 came in, restaurants were allowed to open up. But bars and pubs are still a no-no. In between all this, food and beverage specialists, food and beverage managers, food and beverage owners are trying to get to understand what is the real situation that is happening. So, to understand this issue and more, we have with us today Teja Chekuri, managing partner of Ainul Breweries and Ainul Cafe, and also the Prost, a very popular brewery that is located in multiple cities across the country. Let's speak to him and understand how is the post-lockdown scenario been. Welcome to the show, Mr. Teja.
Thank you.
So the first and most obvious question would be to ask you is, where did you start? I mean, I was told that you were a IT professional in the US before you decided to get into the food and beverage business. And how did this transition happen?
So I used to work as a database administrator in US. So basically I'm interested in eating good varieties of food, new varieties, or trying new varieties of food. So at the time, the brewery concept is something which is coming up in India, and we have breweries in Delhi and Pune at the time. So, but in Bangalore, we are the third one to open. So that is something new. Restaurants are there from long time, but brewery is something coming up, and which has food and beer and alcohol, everything there. So we thought of setting up a brewery in Bangalore. So and we did that, and then we started that in 2013 in Koramangala in Bangalore. So from there it took off. So
and how was the takeoff? Basically, when you speak of a city like Bangalore, it is known for its pubs, it is known for its bars, it's known for the hip hop lifestyle there. So was it a conscious decision to start in Bangalore first rather than other cities?
At the point of time, they need separate. Right now, also we need a separate GO for setting up a brewery. So only Delhi, Pune, and Bangalore were the three cities in India which were allowing for the microbreweries to be started. So Pune and Delhi were already there like around 10 breweries are there in each city. So Bangalore was just coming. So Bangalore, there are only two breweries. One is Tide, one is Beer Club. So we thought, and for a city like Bangalore, two is nothing. It's just nothing. Right now, today, Bangalore has around 80 microbreweries. So still they're doing, I mean, most of them are doing good.
So when you say they're doing good, you mean that there is enough market to cater to something like 80 breweries. And when you talk of specifically moving to a city like Hyderabad, which was your next move, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why did you decide to set up a brewery? Because the permits were started by here to be given here in Hyderabad also?
So when we started in Bangalore, so Hyderabad didn't start giving the GO, didn't start giving permissions for microbreweries. So we started in Bangalore. Since we are from Andhra, on the previous Andhra Pradesh.
Okay.
So we're always interested to start in AP or Telangana. But since we didn't have the government license at that point of time, so we went to Bangalore and we started in Bangalore. So when Telangana government decided to start giving permissions for microbreweries, so we immediately jumped into Telangana. So that's the reason why we went to Bangalore. Otherwise, if we had an option, maybe we would have tried Hyderabad first. And for the other question, in Bangalore, the advantage in Bangalore is both advantage and disadvantage. It's traffic. So with the kind of traffic in Bangalore, it's very hard for people to move from one place to another, or one area, one locality to another locality. So that way, every city, every part of the city is a city by itself. occasionally people try to go from one part of the city to other part, but not on regular, I mean, not on daily kind of basis or weekly basis. So, for example, if Whitefield is there, Whitefield itself is like a city for
Correct.
people don't commute much from one area to other area. So that's one reason why that city is able to hold so many, I mean, give business to so many breweries.
And Koramangala itself is a huge residential area
Yeah.
by itself. So how was the response in Hyderabad been to Prost moving in? Because I remember coming for the inaugural of the pub, and how was it taken off since then? Because it's a culture change.
Yeah.
You know, drinking from a bottled beer and then moving to a brewery, it's a different ball game altogether. So how has been the response there?
The response was very good. I mean, initially 1.5 year it was, we used to stop taking in people by evening 7 o'clock, because it used to be filled by at least 7 o'clock in the evening. So that's very rare case for a pub or a brewery, because usually people tend to go out at 9 o'clock in the night or like that, not very early. But because of the availability of the space, so people started coming early. So the response was very good. And
So when you say the response is good in terms of numbers, then you decided that, you know, from the brewery side you will move into something like selling coffee. Now, how did that change happen? I know you have a set of restaurants in the US named Godavari, and of course you can also tell us how did that idea actually come into your mind?
Coffee Day is the one big chain in coffee right now. So other than that, that kind of chain is not there in coffee, and that is something which is new to India also. If you go to the western part of the world, so they're more used to coffee, like Starbucks and all these things. So they're more used to coffee and coffee culture, and they know the bean and everything. So in India, till now we are more used to filter coffee, not the particular beans or all these black coffee and all these things. So these are just starting up right now in India. So it's always there will be an advantage for an early entry. So we thought it will be an advantage, and so that's the reason why we started one cafe. And so this particular Madhapur cafe, which we started in 2019, it worked out very good. So we started one more location in Film Nagar, and actually supposedly we are supposed to start another 3 locations this year, but
Now due to the
it's all Corona now. So
yeah, it's a post-pandemic world. But
Yeah.
coffee culture, as you rightly said, we Indians actually mix shikari in coffee. We don't really drink pure coffee as such. But the culture from Starbucks, as you rightly described, and then Cafe Coffee Day later, which Mr. Siddhartha brought in, these brought in a change in culture. Coffee became more than coffee. It's a meeting point. It's a point where people meet and discuss things, and that's how the culture spreads. But when you look at food and beverage business as such, when you look at it as a food and beverage professional, in terms of profitability, which is better? And obviously a brewery will be better than a coffee, but as a brand name, which one is better, a coffee or a liquor?
See, there are two things here. One is a brewery requires a lot of investment, and a coffee shop is not so investment intensive. It's light on investment. So obviously when you look at the numbers also, the alcohol places, they do big numbers when you compare with a coffee shop. So it's what you're putting in and what you're getting out. So with the same investment you're putting in a brewery, you might be able to start at least 10 coffee shops for sure, at the minimum.
I was very inquisitive at your logo. You know, it has a rat in it, and you know, holding up a beer mug, and so I was always, where did that rat come in? How? I mean, what is the connection between rat and an iron ale?
So actually, that creature is called tree shrew. So it lives in the Malaysian tropical forest.
Okay.
So and it boozes every night for 1 hour, 1 to 2 hours every night, and it's very stable.
How does it do that?
So it extracts the nectar, some kind of thing from the trees,
Okay.
which is equivalent to the alcohol
That we consume.
boozing. So it consumes that, and it's very stable. So it does that every night. So whoever drinks at Iron Hill, we thought they'll be as strong as tree shrew.
We did discuss about this, the post lockdown scenario, and you wanted to expand to 3 more outlets in Hyderabad, the coffee ones. But tell me, I mean, in terms of course, your Prost is still not open, the brewery is still not open, but in terms of the coffee shop itself, I've been speaking to a lot of hoteliers and restaurateurs out here, and all of them say that, you know, the social distancing norms actually reduces the number of seats in a restaurant, thereby affecting their business as such. And as a result, even the cost may go up. What's a catch-22 situation? Because if you increase the cost, the customers will stop coming. And if you don't follow the social distancing now, customers also will not come in. So in your Iron Hill here, how did you manage to ensure that you follow all the legal requirements as per the social distancing norms? And of course, you have an air-conditioned area and you have a non-air-conditioned area both. So how did you manage all this?
So for us, it's pre-COVID also. We used to have a lot of space here. So this for some reason we got this site and we built this whole building here.
Okay.
So it was spacious even before pre-COVID. So if you look at the seating outside and the outdoor, there's a lot of gap in between one table to another. The same thing with the tables indoor also. So we didn't do much when you're talking about table management, because we are following the table distancing even before COVID also, so unknowingly. So since it's a coffee shop, it won't be flooded like a bar. So even though, like say our seater is around 80 seater our capacity. So 80 seater is good enough for a coffee shop. You don't need to go beyond that. So, but since we have more space here in the real estate wise, so we already have our tables. Good distancing between our tables.
So when you look at distancing and other norms, you're also ensuring that your staff stays safe. And when I was coming in, of course, they were checking the temperature, and once it showed beyond 100, so he said you can't enter. And then I went back and came back again, and that time it came down to 95. So we're looking at temperature settings, we're looking at various kind of issues that are there right now. So how has been the response since the Unlock 1.0 came in? Are customers flocking back? Because you must be having a regular set of customers who come to a coffee shop, because coffee shop culture is all about coming regularly.
So before the COVID, we have a lot of startup companies in around this area. So our lunch used to be very busy. Most of the people, they used to come here for lunch. So now after the COVID, after we opened, so what happened is most of the companies, they are working from home. That's one disadvantage. And we have some customers who are our regular customers. So still they are there, they are coming. That's the reason why we are at least able to open the doors.
So in terms of percentages, how much now when you compare, say it was 100% before, what percentage of customers have come back?
So I think we are doing around 30% of what we used to do before COVID.
Okay.
So it is a hit on the business, but this is something which we didn't expect, or no one expected, or which we or the generations before us haven't seen a situation like this. This is something very new to everyone. So we have to learn from this. That's what we can do, and we have to be careful in future.
So in fact, that's exactly the point. We need to kind of ensure that hygiene becomes a part of our lifestyle. It was never like that. We used to eat pani puri from the roadside. Yeah. We had that culture with us. But going forward, as you look at the business prospering, definitely for the next 6 months, as you rightly said, investment is a no kind of thing. But post, as business picks up, as there's a new culture that evolves, as people work from home, they will even go to a neighborhood coffee shop at the end of the day. They might not come to high-tech city all the way, but they might look at coffee shops in their neighborhood. Do you think the neighborhood coffee shops will now become a big player in this business, especially in the residential areas?
We are in a position which we can't say this will happen or this won't happen, because when we opened this Iron Hill Cafe after the COVID, we thought we would not be able to do even the 30% business which we are doing right now. We were very scared to open, but at least we are doing something, and 30% is kind of very good in this kind of situation right now.
That means you must be inspiring confidence in the people who are coming, because people are scared to go out. But if somebody is coming to a coffee shop and spending time there, that means they are confident of the brand, because you have put certain practices in place and you ensure that discipline is there.
Even if we forget about the COVID also, even before we used to make sure everything is neat and clean, and the person who is serving, we used to take care of the appearance of the person, how his hairstyle should be and all those things. So the people should be well groomed, and even in our kitchens we used to have the head caps and all those things even before COVID. So this is all for us. Nothing much changed except using the sanitizers and checking the temperatures. We almost used to follow the same things pre-COVID also, the same kind of rules and regulations.
So, Mr. Teja, when you finally look at the food and beverage business, I'm not asking about your business, generally overall, do you think, looking at different industries, the food and beverage industry, when do you think the final growth will come in? 1 year, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years? Where do you think? I'm not asking you to predict, but there must be some hunch you have.
At least we are assuming by second quarter of next year, it will start coming back to normal slowly. So until then, the situation will be almost the same or little better than the same, little better than what we are doing right now. But for this year, it's a forget. We don't need to think about it also. This year is just our survival. If we are able to survive this year, next year we might do better.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Teja Chekuri, Managing Partner of Iron Hill Brewery and Prost, talking to us about the food and beverage industry, which today is in a sort of a bind because of the post-COVID scenario. Things will bounce back, that's for sure. All of us are optimists. And surely, as a food and beverage professional myself, I'm sure people will start flocking to eating out and there'll be more zest in life. Thank you for watching.